This is Ben Meiselas, and this is a MeidasTouch Network breaking news alert. The federal magistrate judge who signed the search warrant that was executed at Mar-a-Lago last week has finished hearing oral argument from both the government and lawyers for Donald Trump in connection with the potential unsealing of the affidavit, search warrant, and return. Now, the search warrant itself and the return have essentially already been made public, so there's no issues or disputes there. The real question before the magistrate judge today was whether or not to unseal the affidavit, which set forth the description of probable cause and all of the information that the government knew before searching Mar-a-Lago, which potentially also included the names of confidential informants. And what Judge Reinhart appeared to rule at the end, and what he indicated, is that he was inclined to release a redacted version of the affidavit. So he asked the DOJ to go back and by next Thursday to redact the references that they think need to be redacted in the affidavit, which could potentially, for example, reveal the name of confidential informants and other confidential information. Now, the redaction would not just be of the names, because there could be other information in the affidavit, which the context around it could show who the confidential informant would be. So we should expect the Department of Justice to also try to redact that information. So by next Thursday, what we should expect to happen is the Department of Justice to file a redacted version of the affidavit or lodge it with the court, and the court to determine whether or not to release that version of it. Now, the Department of Justice has made clear, though, that it will be a heavily redacted document, to the extent that almost the entire document may indeed be redacted. Now, this is a common thing before pre-indictment, that confidential informants and information contained in an affidavit be kept confidential before an indictment takes place. And so what the government's request here is not out of the ordinary. And the judge ultimately is trying to balance both the public's right to have information on something of public interest, number one, but two, to make sure that the protection and witness protection is still in place within the affidavit itself, in terms of giving the government the opportunity to redact. But what this means in layman's terms, though, is that by next week, we may actually get to see portions of the affidavit giving us more information about the reasons additional reasons behind the search warrant executed on Mar-a-Lago. What did the government know? When did the government know it? We'll probably learn more about the various steps that Trump lawyers took to obstruct the federal government in their investigation into the confidential documents being kept at Mar-a-Lago. And ultimately, my view is that this is all going to completely backfire for Trump, and they're going to try to come up with more excuses and more excuses when the search warrant is ultimately revealed, because what we know from the news so far is that the government took consistent, constant steps to try to identify these records, to try to obtain the records through less intrusive means. And after Donald Trump and his lackeys signed declarations which lied and said this information was returned, which we know it wasn't returned, and after all of these refusals, the government had to take action to protect our national security. So that's what I expect that will be in this affidavit. So it's not going to be good news for Trump, and this is actually good news for those who want Trump to be held accountable. We just have to make sure, as a country that supports law and order, that those who have assisted law enforcement and the FBI in getting this information from Donald Trump and protecting our national security are indeed protected in the redacted affidavit that's filed. This has been Meiselas, and this has been a MeidasTouch Network breaking news alert.
Hey, this is Jordy, co-founder of MeidasTouch. Person, woman, man, camera, prison. MeidasTouch just came out with a brand new t-shirt with this perfect message. Make sure you check out store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com and grab yours today. Thank you.